What's up, YouTube? Today we are going to make one of these. We got a legal pad portfolio on the workbench today. I make these all the time. This is one of my good old, I like to call them bill payers. Sometimes you just got those pieces that just be holding it down. They just be paying the bills. And these legal pad portfolios are one of those things. So you can see we got some pockets here, standard kind of journal portfolio kind of deals, and this little slot holds a handy dandy legal pad. So without further ado, we are going to jump right into this puppy. With that being said, I'm gonna just shut the hell up and get on to it. Got the old trusty dusty set of patterns. When you make anything, save those patterns for use down the road. So our pattern consists of the outside. This is gonna be the front and the back, the cover. I'm gonna use our heaviest weight leather on this. I have a couple of different patterns and styles of legal pads that I do. So for this one, 2 pockets, as well as a little deal for cards, business cards, whatever you wanna put in here. And then the other side, we are going to make another pocket. This is where our actual legal pad's going to go. Pretty straightforward. First, we're gonna start off with this really nice heavyweight skirting leather I got. We should be able to get some really cool deep tooling out of this side. We're gonna come in and get our pieces for our pockets. There's some utility of having multiple patterns on hand. So you'll notice I don't trace out this oval because this is for a different style legal pad folio where the pad actually fits in this slot. It's really handy to keep in extra parts of patterns and stuff you might need. What we're gonna do next is a little bit unconventional for what most people do, but I'm going to actually start soaking this backing in, casing it. Then I'm going to run what is going to be the stitch line, and this is going to help with the layout of the artwork. Since this is going to be the front and the back of the piece, we have to actually figure out where this middle line is and where the 2 windows and the 2 sides and how they're going to panel off. So it's going to be 22 inches, so I'm going to mark a middle spot at 11 inches on this line, and then 11 inches. I'm gonna wanna make a spine that's about 2.5 inches, 3 inches or so, to make these windows. So we can break it off into 2 panels that make sense. So just for kind of easy numbers, I'm gonna go 1.5 inches this way, and then 1.5 inches that way, making marks at 9.5 and 12.5. And this is where we're gonna draw basically our imaginary lines for the 2 panels. We're gonna have basically a line that goes here, and then a line that goes here. And these are gonna be the fronts and the backs. First things first, it's way hotter and muggier than it needs to be, so the shirt's off. I'm sweating. This beanie needs to come off, but I'm bald and I need to shave my head, or you'd be able to see how bald I actually am, which that's not gonna fly. This particular notebook is pretty straightforward. We're not getting too wild. Just the big old cow head logo. You might not be able to see or read on the camera, but there is like a very, very faint line where I've marked these 2 imaginary windows. So now I can go from there and center my margins of where I want them to be. And then, like you've seen time and time again, we're going to trace our image. As you can see, this is transferred. I also thought it would be kind of neat, since we're using these kind of unique pocket styles, use some of this shape here to actually make the window to get us the shape of this window. Kind of funky, kind of like it. It's a little different. It's a lot cooler than just a straight up square, so we're gonna run with it. Shout outs Leather Wranglers. Been using their knives for a long time. Shout out to Paul and Rosa. I'm gonna soak this down a little bit more and get to carbon on it. Now that I'm in Texas, I have access to this good fee beans. But I love this stuff. Game changer. This is always a tricky pattern to stain because no matter what way you kind of scrub and which way you wipe, it's really hard to get into all the cracks. So this is a kind of like stain mix that I've made, and it gives these really cool kind of textures, almost like a wood grainy kind of look. You'll see like there's a lot of dark highlights in there and then kind of lighter chunks. Some people would say that that's not like stained properly, but I'm very much going for this kind of pattern. I hope it shows up well on the camera. See, in like a single pass, you could see the crazy amount of contrast. I could just leave it at like one single pass and have crazy contrast. You see really dark browns and almost black in some spots, which, you know, part of the beauty of this kind of pattern deal that I kind of developed with this stain technique, you can get some really neat textures. I like to think of it as like the leather stain, like Yeezy collection. Like we all remember Kanye and his Yeezys came out with a line of just like ripped clothes for swag points, and this is kind of what I like to think of this as. It's like intentional brush strokes to kind of give a little bit of a special effect, kind of beyond just being a solid color. Cure for a couple minutes, and I'm gonna zip this bad boy together. I'm tired and hot and sweaty and gross smelling. Just gotta get this bad boy clipped together and then zip together. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Quick little video. If there's a step that you guys wish you saw a little bit more of, maybe zoomed in, maybe slowed down, leave it down in the comments down below, and maybe next video I will do a deep dive on a specific step of the process with you guys, dedicating your afternoon or your evening or your morning, whenever the hell you're watching this video, to me making this portfolio here. I'm gonna give you guys some respect and some space away from me. If you don't want space away from me, just click down below in the bio and watch yourself another video. So without further ado, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for tagging along this wild, wacky leather adventure.